We are live. We are live. What is up, guys? It's Mountaineer Paul. How we doing this evening, everybody? We'll let the. Sorry, I'm a little late. There we are. We got 9 people showing there. What's up, guys? We are ready to fight, it seems. Patrick Morrisey, in a classic case of trying to make everybody like him, right? I feel like this is a good. If you're Patrick Morrisey and you're an Attorney General, what better way to endear yourself to the state of West Virginia if you have higher aspirations than to get the best player possibly on one of the 2 best players on the basketball team eligible just right after the day after the NCAA rules that he's not eligible. If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about here, let's get to the video or to the article. And this is actually Couz, my buddy and partner on this show, Couz. This is somebody that works for him on his website named Shayna Rose. Give me 1 second, guys, and I'll pull that right up for you. All right. West Virginia Attorney General wants answers from the NCAA. By Shayna Rose, Morgantown, West Virginia. On Monday, the NCAA denied West Virginia University's Raequan Battle his waiver to play this season. As expected, the school said it would appeal the decision. This is something all too familiar for Mountaineers, who went through this last season with Jose Perez and then this summer with Omar Silverio. The NCAA awards a very limited number of waivers. On January 11th, the NCAA announced it was cracking down on waivers for 2-time transfers and would grant them only if student-athletes demonstrated an adequately documented a personal need for safety reasons to depart from their previous school. North Carolina's Tez Walker, who's a fairly famous example, fell victim to the brutal NCAA ruling and was denied a waiver earlier this summer, similar to the Mountaineers have done with Battle's case. North Carolina went back and forth with the NCAA for months. They gave them facts and answered all their questions, just like WVU head coach Josh Ireland had done. Denied. That was the ruling that was given, but instead of backing down, the legal team became involved. North Carolina State Attorney General Josh Stein also threatened legal action against the NCAA. In a letter he sent to them, saying its decision likely violated federal and state antitrust laws. In the end, Walker was granted eligibility. On Tuesday afternoon, West Virginia Attorney General Patrick Morrisey took to X, formerly known as Twitter, to support the Mountaineers and Raequan Battle. The recent decision to deny Raequan Battle's eligibility to play basketball at WVU this season raises serious legal issues that demand answers. Like many WVU fans and citizens of West Virginia, I was dismayed by this move, and I'm hopeful it can be fixed in time for the 23-24 season. We are engaged on this matter and will be weighing in more formally in the days ahead. We want to make sure the right things happen for Raequan and WVU, and that any action taken is consistent with the rule of law. As the Attorney General of West Virginia, I take our antitrust authority seriously and will take all appropriate steps to ensure our laws are followed. It's hard to tell if Morrisey could have any bearing on Battle's case with the NCAA, but it's worth a shot. The 6'5", 190-pound guard transferred several times and was not a graduate student after the summer session. Battle transferred from Montana State after averaging 17.7 points on 47% shooting for the Bobcats. He helped Montana State to the NCAA tournament where they kept number 3 seeded Kansas State on the ropes, and he absolutely went off in that game. Islanders touched on Battle's story several times this summer, coming from the Tulalip Reservation in Washington. The senior was the first Tulalip tribe member to earn a D1 Scout basketball scholarship and a hero to many of the tribe's youth. Currently, Battle will wait to see what happens with his appeal, but it looks as if he will sit out this season unless it is won. Before we go on any further, guys, let's recognize the sponsor of this video. As always, we're talking about Dutch Miller Auto. Please go to Dutch Miller for all your vehicle needs, guys. This episode of Hoops in the Hills is brought to you by Dutch Miller Automotive, where friends and family pricing means you get the best deal right up front on any new or pre-loved vehicle in stock every time. With brands like Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Kia, Hyundai, Ford, GMC, Buick, and Subaru, the Dutch Miller Automotive family is always growing and ready to put you in the car or truck you've been searching for. Check out our inventory across West Virginia at DutchMillerAuto.com or come in today to the home of friends and family pricing, only at a Dutch Miller Automotive store near you. Thank you for your patience, guys, as I rattled off a bunch of stuff there. So, Earth Ether said, yes, fight this. We're done being screwed. That's wild. But West Virginia law is not very effective at anything. Guess we'll see. Well, but this is the Attorney General, so it carries a lot more weight. And they're basically just doing what the NCAA or what the UNC playbook was against with the Tez Walker case. So, I think they're going to try to stick to something similar. Hey, no problem, Drizzy. No problem at all. Don't mind the help. So this could be pretty big, guys. I thought it was interesting that Patrick Morrisey became involved. I wasn't expecting that. I think he's classically not liked by a lot of West Virginians. So this is going to be something that can really boost his resume among West Virginians, if you ask me. Pardon me, my mom is messaging me like crazy here. Okay. So we'll see how it goes. I don't know the ins and outs of Raequan's situation. I did tell you guys when we were part of the breaking news, or when we reported this, that Battle was denied. That I had been told by somebody from inside inside the basketball program that they were efforting on this. That they were somebody that was really close to the situation was not going to give up on this, and that was meant beyond an appeal. I obviously think that that's probably what's going on here. Wish I could reveal that to you, but I can't, unfortunately. That said, like I was just getting ready to say, I don't know the ins and outs of this. I don't know how similar or unsimilar this is to the Tez Walker case. If anybody knows in the comments, I would certainly like to hear from you. Does anybody know what the Tez Walker case is all about, basically? I know he had some people pass away, things like that have happened. So I know it's a bad situation for him. Most people were shocked. I read it, and I know I was shocked at the time that he didn't get win based off of everything that had happened to the kid. And it's I don't know about Raequan, but if he's got anything close to like that, then there's no reason he shouldn't have got his as well. I think one thing about this that kind of just takes me off a little bit is the Indian reservation part of this and his heritage. I wonder if that comes into play and if that has any factor at all on Raequan. Obviously, he plays by the same rules as everybody else, but the fact that he was raised on the Indian reservation, it's kind of interesting in this case, and I wonder if it plays any legal factor at all in all this, or if that has something to do with why he feels like they feel like he needs to play, or I don't know. BB said, I like Patrick Morrisey's done right by West Virginia. Yes, he has. And here he goes again. He's doing right by us just again. Thanks, Trey. Appreciate that. Uh, you know, I think the appeal we all thought was going to happen, but the Attorney General's office, making a statement, and not only did he say what he said, but I didn't see it in the article, but they said they'd be weighing in more heavily on this issue in the days to come. So that leads me to think a lawsuit will be officially be submitted. No, unless it's a grad transfer that just hasn't, for whatever reason, wants to transfer. Um, I don't know what the last day. I'm assuming it's probably too late or close for somebody to um, transfer in at this point in time. But I can't say I know for sure. But I know once you've practiced with another team officially, but this is what happened with Jose Perez last year. The reason he couldn't play for West Virginia was because he'd officially practiced with Manhattan like 1 or 2 days. So there was that. Thanks, Civil Mark. Appreciate that, brother. Simo said, I mean, if the NCAA wants to flex its waning authority on what it perceives as an easy target in West Virginia, might as well make them earn it, give them any hell we can. Absolutely. And like we said, North Carolina just did this, right? And so we don't have to, worry about, oh, we're the only ones that have done this. No, North Carolina just got an appeal just a few weeks back for the same issue, kind of. Need to get Zach De La Roca from Rage Against the Machine. What? I must be missing a conversation somewhere. That's something that I agree with, but Simo, I can't go into any detail, and that's what you hear every time you ask somebody, right? But let me put it to you like this. My sources who are basically inside the basketball organization there, this is almost being kept strictly between like Josh Eilert, Bob Huggins, and Raequan. Not even all the coaches know, unless he's just told him himself, exactly what's going on with Raequan here. Like, it's been that tight-lipped of a thing. I don't know why. If it's embarrassing for the kid or if it's something that's that sensitive. But it's literally been like, we haven't had a detail. Not even a detail. We've had some mental health things, like they've kind of been through, reading between the lines. I've saw some things like that, possibly, but nothing concrete at all. Oh, need to get him involved. Absolutely. Where Drizzy says, why do we keep getting into these predicaments? We're just like every other school. I feel like they grant their request. Also, shouldn't the NCAA allow someone to transfer or not before the transfer? I see what you're saying. The thing about that is, Drizzy, if they did that, it's such a process. There's so much information that has to exchange hands. And if somebody wants to leave a school, they're going to leave it, right? So, once the damage is done, it's done. You have to let them leave, and then they either sit out or they don't while you gather information. And if they're a first-time transfer, there's nothing you can say. If they're a graduate transfer, there's nothing you can say. This team really needs battle. It's crazy to make him sit out a year. I won't name names, but a couple of the new players don't look as good as hyped. There are two sides to every coin. Who are you talking about, Rick? Curious to know who you're talking about. I mean, there's only a couple new players. We've got Quinn Slazinski. We've got a Cook. We've got Jesse. We've got, obviously, Raequan, Noah. And then there is the point guard from Arizona. Just slipped my mind for some reason all of a sudden. So, I mean, I've watched tape on all of them. Um, I know for sure on, you know, as far as Kirk Cesa goes, I love his game. I mean, is he an elite ball dominant point guard? No. But does he run an offense at an elite level? He can, yes. He can definitely get you into sets, get the ball off the floor, and get the ball where it needs to go. That's what he does. And he can shoot it, right? But, I mean, is he going to drive to the basket and beat people off the dribble over and over again? No, that's not his deal. He can, but he's not elite at that. He's elite at passing the ball. So, in my opinion, that's where he excels, and there are a bunch of guys that can run to the rim on this team. Unfortunately, it's going to be really congested if we don't have shot makers like Raequan out there. Slazinski can make shots. Obviously, we know about Kobe, who's gotten a little bit better at making shots, and Seth, who's really been pretty good. We're going to need those guys to step up even further, unfortunately. Silveria not being there on the team has hurts us as far as shot makers go, too. And there are other, Cook can step out and make some. But generally speaking, I think Kerr is, a lot of people have really, really, it varies people's opinions on that. Could be, but here's the thing, Scott, sorry. Um, there are, this is not going to be a Huggins team. This is not going to be a defensive oriented team. Um, they're going to play defense. I think they'll play hard, but some of the principles that Bob used, they will use. Some of them are outdated. And I think Josh is going to modernize the way these guys play. There's going to be a lot of spacing on the floor that's going to be updated. Huggins teams were never good with spacing, right? So that's something that I think Eilert has alluded to in press conferences, and is going to change. So, point being is we're not going to be playing as hard as the Hugs teams did, and hopefully we won't get into as much foul trouble. That said, Jesse Edwards has played zone his whole career and became elite in that 2-3 zone that they played Syracuse with Bayhon. And apparently he's having to adjust playing different styles of defense. That could hurt for sure. Uh, let's see. Got a super chat in here I'm trying to get to. James Cook, thank you, man. Where was the AG at when we had another player's waiver denied recently? James, that's a fair question. I'll say this. I think this is a one shot type of deal. You don't want to, every time you get a player denied or whatever, you don't want to go to the Attorney General with it. Raequan Battle is worth that. If everything comes together for him, he can seriously be a top 5 player in the league. I believe that. Based on film research, based on what everybody says, he's on the precipice of making a serious leap from his 17 points per game at Montana State last year. Dropped, what was it, 37 on Kansas State in the tournament. A lot of people are excited about this kid. He jumps 40 inches. He can play elite defense, although it's not his calling card. And so Silverio, who was a good player, don't get me wrong, good player. I don't think and his situation was kind of cut and dry. He transferred more than once and didn't really have a good excuse for transferring the second time. So coaching changes are no longer being accepted as reasons, apparently. Take that for what you will, but that's all across the board. I mean, there's been tens of thousands of people denied since that rule came out. That's very possible, Mark. Very possible. Yeah, I agree. Um, it's going to be tough, man. You know, I think we got to have players. We just got to have guys step up. I don't know if they can or not. You know, Drizzy, from what I understand, he can play next year. I haven't heard anything to the contrary with that. But it's also not a question I've asked any of my sources. But from what I understand, he would have another year, just not this year. So if that's the case, talking about Raequan Battle and Noah Farrakhan as your starting guard duo to start the season next year, that's pretty damn good. So I would be excited about that. You know, if I knew it was going to happen, like if I knew he was going to stick around. I mean, he can't transfer again, I don't think. Um, well, yeah, I mean, he could. He could go to another school, but he wouldn't play this year if he gets denied again. Mark said he will still. So, guys, just like James Cook did, drop a super chat down below. You want to, say something that's really on your mind. You want to get it off your chest. We'd love to hear that. We'd love to answer it for you. If you're not a channel member, we'd appreciate you become one. As always, hit the join button down below. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and everybody give Couz hell in the comments. Now that he is finally here, he probably just came back from a fancy dinner or something. He is on vacation, so everybody give Couz hell in the comments for being on vacation while the rest of us have to stay at home. Yeah, I think so, Drizzy. And Couz maybe can answer that in the comments as well. I don't know. From what I understand, I believe that Raequan has another year of eligibility if this doesn't play out in our favor. So, um, also, guys, I'm not going to be on here long tonight. There's not a whole lot of topics to talk about. I will shift into the next topic. Um, we have officially dropped out of Joe Lenardi's bracketology. This is one man's opinion, but he probably represents the consensus at the same time. So there might be a couple changes here or there. But remember, guys, he's gotten all but one team right in the field. Like, he might have been 100% last year. I really don't remember. But he gets, out of the 68 teams, I think he got 67 right in the field last year. I know he did the year before. So he's really plugged into it. He understands the formula. It's been the same for a while now. So us dropping out of that is kind of a big deal. Still have to play the games. I wouldn't count us out yet. I still wouldn't. I think we've got a few pieces. We would have to play a certain kind of way, similar to this Neil Brown team. But it's not impossible. Right. I agree with you, Simo. Is it Simo? I'm guessing. It's a hard E. So, Drizzy, appreciate that, man. We actually already did that with about hugs and all that. Still getting the video with the assistant coach. I'm not sure what you mean there. Maybe rephrase that. But yeah, we talked about the Hugs thing, and it is what it is. I'm kind of ready to move past Hugs, to be honest with you. It's just, I don't know. It's hard. It's just makes me sad thinking about what we had on this roster and where we're at now. I mean, it's still not in a terrible place. Could be worse. But before Hugs got fired, literally, or before he quit, whichever one you want to say. This roster was in the best place maybe all time that it's been. And they were on the hunt for more big names. It's hard to say who would have landed here had he stuck around. So very 2007-ish in a lot of ways, 13-9, just bad luck. Oh, Jay Couz. Yeah. Yeah, he's actually not a coach, technically, Drizzy. He is the general manager of the team. Yes, you heard that right. He's the GM and director of recruiting for West Virginia. So what does that mean? He is basically a GM in today's college basketball age. He his job is to bring players onto and kick players out of if necessary, or at least suggest that. So yeah, he's a modern day GM, and a good one at that. So love Jay Couz. Love me some Jay Couz. All right, guys. Well, I really don't have a whole lot else. The chat room's not popping off too much tonight. I appreciate those of you that have come in. And before you go, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. I don't have a whole lot else to talk about, really. I just wanted to get this out there. I certainly appreciate you guys for chiming in. As always, you guys support us, even during football season. If this is after the fact and you're watching this video, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, so we can feed the algorithm. If you're watching the video, if all 51 of you could just hit the like button real quick, it would help a lot for us. We need that to happen. It just is what it is. We're under YouTube's control with that. And then lastly, comment down below. Let us know how you feel about Patrick Morrisey chiming in, saying that maybe they'll be weighing in more heavily in the days to come on the Raequan Battle situation. Would love to know that from you. Hope Couz has a good vacation as well. Oh, no problem, man. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you all as well. Thanks, Brandon. Appreciate it. All right, guys. It's a good question, AJ. Nobody really knows. Basically, here's where it is. If you're a one-time transfer, you're good. If you're a graduate transfer, you're good. If you transfer more than once, you're not good now. That's basically the criteria. All right, guys, this has been another edition of Hoops from the Hills. Hope you enjoyed this one. This episode is over. I am out.